And now, welcome to the Great Cigar and Pipe Show. Presented by Hiram Solomon Cigars. And also the Oliva Cigar family. Coming to you live from the Corona Cigar Company studios.
I am a blues man. I live this life.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another Great Cigar and Pipe Show. Tonight's special guest is coming from you live from Italy. Yes, it's early morning there. She took a little nap just to come on our show, and we just talked to her. She is excited. She's fired up. Yes, she does speak English, so don't worry about that. It's not like Bob and I and Frank are going to be talking Italian and you're just going to get subtitles on the bottom, and Kyle don't have a clue what's going on.
If that's the case, I'm just going to go home now.
Ah, look at that. We've been trying to teach him Italian, all the dirty words.
Yeah, I only know the bad
He don't know
words.
anything else.
Come on, Kyle, you got to get all this. You gotta
He's learning. He is learning. He's learning. But anyway, folks, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Again, Franca, just, you know, if you haven't seen our promo and you haven't had a chance to go on her website, it is absolutely amazing. And it can help all kinds of smokers. If you're a beginner, a novice, a medium, you know, prime
a medium
smoker.
If you are a medium,
okay. No, I didn't go there. I didn't go there. I said a medium smoker.
In our future.
You guys, my God. So I'm going to avoid those two ginzos.
I didn't know we were into ghost hunting.
I'm ghosting you. Don't worry about it.
Guys, what I love about tonight's show, and I was telling Franca what we're going to smoke tonight, is it's interesting because we had gotten these cigars from J.C. Newman and our
brand new blend.
Brand new blend.
Yeah,
so
this is brand.
we're
brand
gonna post.
new.
We're gonna show
We have
you
not
this.
smoked this
we
yet.
We have not smoked this yet. It is truly a brand new stick.
It's
this
incredible.
is a Salomon. It comes in 3 different.
But look at the band,
Vitolas.
Frank.
Oh no, the band is
it's almost the
absolutely
entire
gorgeous.
cigar.
It's gorgeous.
This is amazing.
It's gorgeous.
Amazing.
It's the Angel Cuesta. Now, the Angel Cuesta, you have to go to J.C. Newman Cigars. You got to go to jcnewmancigars.com and look up the blend because it has such a rich history. I mean, and we're talking to somebody who's in Italy. Now, Italy is rich with history. Everything about Italy is around its history. It's Rome.
Rome owned the world at one
exactly.
point. I mean,
and not to boast, we happen to be Italian. So this is the perfect Italian American.
By the
show
way, a lot of people owe us money for real estate.
Exactly. They do owe us a little bit of money, but not that we're looking to collect.
No.
We're
just send us cigars.
Just send us cigars. We're good with it. And
hey, I'm looking to collect because I need to move. So,
and he's not going to Italy. Witness protection. So anyway,
we have Chris. Buonasera, signori.
Wow!
Wow!
Did he just take up the show up a whole level?
Well,
My God!
Buonasera, signori, a signora. Ormai, we got to include Franca. She's a signora. Ormai means and also. Just for everybody who doesn't speak Italian. Listen, we're Italian. We speak with our hands. So you see what we do? We do this. We move. We don't.
A lot of people know what we speak.
We do this. We say this. We do that. That's the way it is. I mean, we've got the good doctor on. We got Dr. Gabby Kafie. We got
Earthling is there. Crazy Joey Gallo.
He says,
take the cannoli. There you go.
Everything always revolves. I don't know why Italians.
There's no such thing as the mafia.
There is no such thing as the mafia.
Hey, forget about it. We don't worry about it. Hey, happy birthday, Ian Simpson. Happy birthday to you, guy. Oh, that's all good. Got a lot of good people.
If you guys want to learn about mob stuff, I'll take you to a nice museum out in Vegas when we go. That place is amazing.
Oh,
freaking amazing.
We'll be back in July. We'll check that out.
Tonight, we're going to learn about our palate. Franca's
Yes.
going to take us on a journey that talks about exactly each and every one of us and how we decide what cigar is actually good for us, what cigar we gravitate to, because that our palate takes us there. You know,
I
Ronnie-
gravitate to the free ones. They always
free cigars. Kyle gravitates to the free cigars. Ronnie gravitates to cigars that he
To the
has
bundle
no
of free cigars.
Ronnie doesn't have a palate. Ronnie's palate è bruciato. Franca è bruciato. His palate does not exist. He doesn't have a palate.
No.
Now, Bob is a little bit older than I am. Not by much, but a little
He's
bit.
got an old palate.
His palate is a little mature.
Sophisticato.
Oh,
Maturato.
sophisticated, I don't know about, but that's all right.
Mature. It's a mature palate. Now, my palate happens to be probably very close to Kyle's. We appreciate, we have very similar.
To Kyle? You're going to,
Yeah,
You think
because
you're close to Kyle?
yeah, I believe I am.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
part
Me
of-
and Frank seem
don't
to
know.
be
I
on the
like-
same frequency a lot. Like
Yeah.
with what
Yeah.
we're smoking.
You
Yeah.
like a more milder cigar where Frank
No,
gravitates
no,
towards
no.
a heavier smoke.
No.
Listen. I gravitate to cigars that suit my palate. So I do like a cigar that's I'll say a medium to mild that has certain flavor profiles that allow me to enjoy that cigar. Now, different times of the day, whatever I'm eating, if I'm having
Exactly.
un bello
Exactly.
caffè, a nice coffee in the morning, I want to smoke something that is going to pair nicely with that morning cigar. In the later, after pranzo, after I have a nice dinner, I want something a little bit fuller,
little bit
with
heavier,
a little bit of body.
I think everybody does that.
Yeah, we do that.
Most people do that.
It's all, you know, and that's the beauty of the cigars, because like, you know, you can go from something that is a little more mild to a little bit more medium to a little bit more full body. I mean, that is the beauty of having different types of cigars and different types of days, different types of, you know, moods. Like your mood could be a very influential onto what you want to smoke. I mean, because there are there are very much days where I'm there where I'm like, I just don't want something heavy right now. I just want to enjoy this light cigar. I want to, you know, just be in the moment. I just, you know, there's other things that are involved.
Weigh me down. I don't want it to weigh me down. I want it to lift me
But
up.
don't forget also the retro
That's
hail
why you
of the
smoke that
cigar.
Panamanian red.
No, listen, I don't smoke weed like this guy. Listen, this guy smoked a lot of marijuana in his day, 1969, 1965. It's older than me. He smoked a lot of things that mushrooms, he put hashish. I didn't do that. I'm a purist.
I'll tell him about the opium.
No. You know, so listen, folks, tonight we're going to learn something about our palates. And I think that's the beauty that what Franca is going to bring to us. Her and her husband has spent a lot of time to create analytics that not only help us as consumers of cigars, but manufacturers to help them blend cigars that are going to be accepted by the larger majority of people who are out there smoking. It's just as important for the consumer, but just as important for the manufacturers. So all of the manufacturers that are out there listening, they should also know that Franca is very important in how they blend, because she will give you statistics and analysis that helps with the way they blend cigars and what flavor profiles are accepted by the masses. Not
that's important for any manufacturer, because you know it has to be accepted by people.
Yeah.
If you produce something that no one likes, well, guess what? You're not selling cigars.
No.
Plain and simple.
No,
Well, I can tell you what, this Angel Cuesta.
Yes,
you put that.
Kyle, let me see. I haven't fired mine up. I'm
You fired it up already?
I started lighting this and going. Like, this is such an easy smoke. Oh my Lord! Like the
retro
draw on
is
it,
unbelievable.
The retro is like
wonderful.
nothing. I mean, there's no burn, nothing on the nose.
Right.
The draw on it is so easy. Like all you have to do is just breathe.
Well, you know what?
Well, you got to breathe. You got to breathe.
What's
we
great
hope you all breathe, but
but that's how easy. I mean, some cigars are a little bit tighter, so I mean, you have to
a little bit heavier.
get a heavier draw on it, but
no,
easy.
The great thing about this cigar, and what I love about it, is it's only actually rolled by 2 people at the J.C. Newman El Riojo, which is the roller, as we like to say in Italian, the l'orologio, which is the watchtower factory in Tampa. So it's very unique because there are only 2 rollers.
And
that
we
are
know those 2 people.
And we know the 2 rollers.
Yeah.
And
we met them.
When we were
They helped us roll.
They helped us roll. Yeah. So, and we'll be back at the factory blending our own cigars
tomorrow.
Yes.
Bob wants it to be tomorrow.
I wanted to be last month.
So folks, make sure if you ever have the opportunity, you want to go and make sure you take a trip to Tampa and visit the J.C. Newman Cigar Factory.
Yes.
You got to order ahead for the tour, though, because those floors are packed.
Hey, they're packed. Yep. But you want to make
it's
sure
a
you
walk
go
in
there.
time. It's a walk in back in time. I should say.
And it gives you
a wonderful place.
It gives you a chance to see not only the hand rolling process, but they have machine rolled cigars. And we're going to talk to Franca because I want to find out a little bit about the rich history of tobacco in Italy and the production of tobacco, Kentucky tobacco.
Yeah.
So now that you have nonstop talked and you take my part of all the talking, let's talk to our sponsors so we can get to Franca. We don't want to hear you.
We're not going to introduce each other?
We're
not introduced. Screw the intros. Screw the intros. Let's go to the sponsors.
Before we say anything,
everybody knows who the hell we are. Let's go right to our guests.
But please hit the share button, everybody. Let's get Franca around the world right now because this is going to be very important to all you cigar smoking people. She has an incredible website that is truly going to help you understand your palate and what might actually work best for you. So we're going to go to our sponsors, and we come back. We are definitely going to have the one, the only Franca Comparetto coming on.
Che bella canzone. Whenever you speak Italian, it's like a song.
It is.
When you speak Italian, it
is a song.
English is very, very harsh. And we have too many words that mean the same exact thing. In Italy, it's a beautiful language. Comparetto. It speaks what's
the language of love.
It's the language of love. So, make sure you come back. And because when we come back, we're going to have a great guest. She's going to actually show us the way to our palate right after these.
This industry is steeped in family and tradition. There's generational stuff, and I see it over and over, and yet I didn't come from that. Being the outsider looking in, I got to ask all the silly questions, and people were very accepting to want to give me all the right answers. I'm very thankful for those people who kind of allowed me to come in. Now with Alec and Bradley in the business, to have our company become generational, that's pretty cool.
Welcome to GTO Dominican Cigars, a boutique cigar company that artfully blends and creates some of the finest handmade puros from the Cibao Valley in the Dominican Republic. We are 4th-generation manufacturers and growers of tobacco with over 140 years of experience, offering a variety of styles, blends, and strengths. Mild, medium plus, and full-bodied. We would truly consider it an honor for you to experience our cigars. Those who know smoke GTO.
Before you light your next cigar, be sure to check out Cigar Medics, the makers of the patent-approved humidimeter. The humidimeter is a tool designed to display the relative humidity inside your cigar. With this device, there's no more guessing. Simply insert the probes into the foot or cap of your cigar, and you can instantly know if your cigar is ready to be smoked. Buy now on cigarmedics.com and see site for other cigar accessories. With the humidimeter, you'll know when to hold them and know when to smoke them.
Years in the making, The Chief cigar was born, blended, boxed, and released to market on June 26, 2015. This cigar was developed by former fire chief, firefighter, cigar aficionado Ken Dorbecker, and has grown into a signature Firehouse cigar line.
All engines respond.
Including, of course, The Chief, a Nicaraguan Habano blend, Proby, a Connecticut Shade blend, All Hands, a Maduro Mexican San Andreas box press, and the brand new Fire Pole, a beautifully crafted San Andreas Habano barber pole. Join the Chief family and make us part of your humidor. R&A Treasures, out of Tampa Bay, Florida. The last of a legacy. The last of an inventory of Thomas Cristiano in a warehouse where everything is aged and well kept for all your pipe and smoking needs.
All right. Well,
and we are back.
We just lit the cigar, Frank and I, and my goodness, this is like a. It's pastry.
It's pastry.
It's like
it's
you know
Italian
when you have,
bread.
Yeah,
It's
like,
Italian bread.
Yeah, I was like almost to say like toasted French bread or something, or toasted
No
Italian
French.
bread.
Italian
bread.
Oh,
Italian bread.
We don't talk about the French tonight. We talk about
Italian
the
bread.
Italian.
Italian
We're
bread.
gonna bring Franca on right now. Here she is.
Welcome, Franca. Ciao, Franca.
Ciao, ciao. Oh my God, how many things you said of Italy.
Yeah, we left our hearts in Italy. America. What are you going to do? Thank you so much for coming on at such a crazy hour over there. And I know it's so early in the morning. I can't imagine how many espressos you've had already just to stay up.
Well, we told her she took a pizzolino, which in Italian means a little nap.
A little nap.
A little nap.
There you go.
Che ora è lì in Italia? Le 3?
It's it's 10 to 3. Yeah.
3 o'clock in the morning, folks. So please hit the share button and let everybody else know what's going on right now on this show. You're going to learn a lot. So, Franca, again, thank you. Thank you so much. Tell our listeners a little bit about you and how you got started in this industry and came up with this incredible vision of Cigar Sense.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for having me, guys. You were so kind. Right, so I'm Franca Comparetto, and as you have understood, I'm Italian. I was born in Italy, and then I have been living and working in other European countries. And finally, I got to work with Cisco, which I guess everybody knows. And I was moved to headquarters in San Jose, California, where I met actually the guy who became my husband. And before that, I had a little bit of time in Italy. And I fell in love with cigars when somebody, after a beautiful slow food dinner, you know slow food, guys?
Slow food. Everything is slow food for us here in the U.S. We like slow food.
We don't go for fast food.
No, we like slow food. We're Italian. We don't like fast food. Slow food, nicely cooked, rich, beautiful steaks, la bistecca, things that are just nice and rich.
Pasta.
Ronnie's a pasta guy.
Meatballs.
Si vede. Ormai ha messo un po' di peso. He put on a little weight. We call him 4XL.
No, non capisce quello lì.
4XL.
La bilancia.
He breaks the scale.
So anyway, let's talk about the slow cooked food. Come on, Frank.
Because I think there's a difference here in America. Slow means indeed slow cooking. For us in Italy, slow food has a particular meaning. It means good, fair, and clean food. So it has a little bit some layers, right? So, and I consider the cigar to be a gourmet product that aligns with that philosophy.
Yes.
Yeah, would you agree?
Yes,
Perfect
absolutely.
sense. Perfect sense.
Yeah.
Yes. And so, you know, and I'm still a volunteer for Slow Food. But anyway, when I fell in love with cigars, I was invited to a beautiful dinner of great food indeed, great wine. And I was offered, I was in Italy, so it was a Romeo Julieta Churchill. And some people might say that's not the right cigar to start with. It's a Churchill. Who cares? I loved it. I fell in love. And since then, I decided I needed to know everything about cigars. So I looked for a club, I looked for a course. And so I started. And I familiarized with Cuban cigars at that time. The New World cigars were introduced in Italy more slowly at that point. Now there are a lot of them in Italy, but at that time, not so many. And then I moved to the US, as I was telling you, and there I was disoriented. I didn't know any of the cigars that were available in the US when I got there. It was 2013 at that time. And I was so frustrated because I couldn't, you know, I'd started to learn a little bit the sensory language. My English was relatively understandable, but somehow I couldn't tell what I really, I could tell, but I was not understood in terms of what I really wanted. What cigars did I really want? And so another night of frustration, I remember David, who then became my husband, we're talking, and he talked to me about the Pandora Music Genome Project. I don't know if you've heard of it, but
Pandora, sure, Pandora.
The
music,
the radio, yes,
La
musica.
But the way they were recommending music was fascinating. It was not big data, you know, that we have today on other channels. It was really a huge project where there were experts going through at least 400 characteristics for each track. And so David asked me, do you think you could create that for cigars? And I said, well, that's a big one, big project, but I think I'm so desperate that I would really like to work on that. And so we did. And it became Cigar Sense. Because for Cigar Sense, we do analyze a lot, not 400, but we probably get close to that in a while. It's now about 150 characteristics for each cigar with the sensory panel.
Beautiful.
Gotcha.
Wow.
Now, I had a question for you. Because when I went to your website and I started to kind of dig deep, you talk about being an independent panel of basically, they are judges in a way. They will take a cigar now, and you eliminate the what I'll say, somebody's bias on a certain profile, because let's face it, everyone has their own bias towards a cigar, whether it's based on a visual representation. It could be a label, something as simple as that, or a brand, or you get a bias based on that. So your panel of independent judges, are they trained in a way that they can eliminate their own bias in order to really give a neutral opinion about a cigar from a baseline starting at 0? You know, as opposed to something where it's skewed, or
how do you even do that?
It's got to be difficult.
How do you do that?
Yeah, thank you for this question. It is really of key importance for us, for the work we do. So our panel has grown through this, right? Because it wasn't like this in 2015 or in 2016. We were a group of people. So there were experts working with us. We had a PhD in sensory science who helped us set up the analysis, what we call the analysis process. But it wasn't as rigorous as it became today. So today, we don't have, so if you think panel, you might think like 20, 30, 40 people. No, we're a smaller number. Today, we are about 10. And we don't need to be that many, really, because there is a difference between a consumer panel and a trained panel like this.
Gotcha.
So when you're trained, what does it mean? After a screening process, every meeting we have is not an earth. You know, it is a meeting where we discuss how we align. We measure the intensity of every sensory characteristic via a 0 to 9 point scale. And we look at how we align, not only in terms of recognizing the aromas, the tastes, etc., but we look at how we align in how we use that scale. And then we apply statistics.
Gotcha.
We apply statistics because we, when you look at consumer data, you take anything because everything is important.
Right.
Everybody has his own taste, right? And so, but when it is about a panel, you really eliminate the outliers. And we train on that, and we look at, could it be a bias? You know, a while back, I had a bias for coffee, for instance.
Gotcha.
Not even that I was drinking so much coffee. I don't know how biases are not at conscious level. Only when you realize you have one, then you can resolve it. And once I looked at my own data, I was saying, okay, there's something wrong here. It's not possible that almost every cigar I'm smoking, presents coffee. And then focusing on that, I eliminated. But there are all sorts of biases. There's a very tedious one that is very easy to have. It's the predictive confirmation bias, which means even if we say we test blind, in fact, we do see the wrapper of the cigar.
Right.
Right. And when you see a particular wrapper, you can recognize the tobacco and you can immediately say, oh, I smoked one of these guys, and so I know exactly how it's going to taste. And that's the totally wrong start.
Yes.
Because every cigar, you know very well, is different, because the cigar is about the wrapper, but it's about other leaves that make a blend, and the blend is always greater than the sum of the leaves.
Right. Right. Absolutely. Now, when you decided to put this together, your husband is the one who created the analytics for all of this. So he was able to input all of the data that was able to then ultimately put out the information that was able to kind of put all of the flavor profiles into what I'll call not even, basically a spreadsheet, right? It was all very directed to particular senses that each and every one of us kind of have to our senses, whether it's our sense of smell, whether it's our sense of taste. So he was able to put that into a digital analytical form that you were able to then use to come up with suggestions and recommendations for people.
And how long did that take? Because, there were so many different notes and tastes.
Because if we were to just put
thousands, really.
If we were to put just this, which is the flavor profile wheel, you have so many different pieces that are then broken up individually. So you can talk about the spice, the pepper, animal flavors. You've got earthiness, you've got wood, you've got herbs, you've got all of these individual.
I bet if we ask the four of us, what are we getting? We're all going to have a different opinion. We might have the same things,
on certain things,
but there's going to be differences.
Yes,
there has to be.
Yeah, and that's why I think then she's able to, her and her husband David are able to then take all of that data and dissect it, and then put out to not only the manufacturers, because you don't only help consumers, you help the manufacturers develop blends, and so that they can gear their cigars to flavor profiles that people will more readily accept.
It had to take a couple of hours, right?
A couple of hours.
There's just, if I may, there's one comment I wanted to make, that is, everybody has a subjective perception and opinion and view of a cigar, of any product.
Yes.
So that's a human nature. It doesn't matter how expert, how knowledgeable we are. Just because we're human beings, we can't be objective. And the other thing that happens that is a little bit also to take into account for people who recommend cigars, we can, because we are human beings and we can perceive subjectively, we are not able to know what others perceive. You can only do that. Yes, you can work hard on that, and you can put data and you can put statistics into that. And when you have a statistically representative sample, then you can start to do even predictions. And consumers' preferences change region by region. So basically, I think when it is about companies, and we do start to see that there is really serious interest, because for some years we have been talking about this and we have been building studies. But now I really see some real interest from innovative people, and sometimes it's just a matter of time. Of course, I think that there are some things that are happening today that are maybe indeed making people decide that they need to take some decisions that are not only based on experience and guts anymore, but based on data or particular type of data. So that's really interesting. For instance, there's scarcity of Cuban cigars, and Cuban cigars are leaving shelves empty. And so there are more and more manufacturers who are trying to understand, okay, so which of those cigars can we put in those shelves that are left empty? So that's really very interesting. That's something we can help them. We are helping them already, because we can very easily produce reports of cigars that are similar. And we don't only take flavor into account, of course. Another important sensory factor is nicotine strength, but we also look at some other characteristics, price, gauge,
right, exactly,
other elements that are very important. So this is very interesting because any place, any new market where you want to enter, it's not like yes, of course you can expect to attract the masses, but you can also go for a niche, and it might be very, very successful, because actually it is very nice to see how successful this can be if you know exactly how to address that niche.
Right.
Based on, because you address a wide market, and you have a very good sales and marketing machine, and that's great for you, and I wish everyone great success. But that's like targeting more of sales transactions.
Right.
But if you listen to consumers and if you meet their needs, it's not just sales transactions, it's happy returning customers.
Right.
Yeah.
And that makes a difference. But so, it's good that there are booms, because that's growth for everyone. And we all wish that booms don't cease, of course.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, there are some companies that want to be more innovative and start to think ahead. Okay, what happens when? And in the same way, they might think at macroeconomic level, we may think based on our data, what if you change the price? What if you change the nicotine strength level? What happens? What other segment are you going to address? And that's extremely fascinating.
Oh, absolutely. Now, a question for you. Do you see, because now that you are actually based in Italy and have that international, more of a European international take on the cigar industry as a whole, what do you see as a difference when you lived in the States and now being in Italy? What do you see as the differences when it comes to preference of cigars in the different markets, the different regions? Is it very regionally based? Is it those, because could it be influenced by the foods that people eat, the air, the
I think all of that comes into play, but we've heard this before by a few people who have mentioned that the European taste in cigars, and but by taste I mean strengths also, is very, very different from the American taste buds. How do you see that?
Okay.
And it goes back to what Frank said. Food has a lot of impact on things, of course.
Yeah, that's and exactly. That's why it's very varied, of course. You can start to see some differences even if you aggregate the data at country level.
Right.
I mean, I was talking recently with someone who was telling me, yeah, but if you look at this side of London, the preferences will be like that. And if you look at this other side of London, and which is, I mean, even at tobacconist level, the ecosystem around the tobacconist level is different because of the social influence that plays a role as well, but of the cigars that the tobacconist selects. But overall, you could say, to simplify, and generally we should not generalize, right? But what we could see and see clearly and iterating is that there are less obviously clear likes and dislikes in Europe. It's like in Europe, people are more careful, a little bit of everything, but in moderate quantities, okay? And it might resonate very well, but you can clearly see it in the data. Like, I can give you an example. People in Italy consider leather as a very positive and good sensory characteristic. And they don't mind associating leather to the category of animal because it is an animal type of aroma. If you talk in the US about leather, and now tell me if I'm wrong, of course, if you talk in the US in general, again, right? Okay, let's be careful about generalizing. But most of the people I talk to about leather, they like it. But if I start to say animal, oh my God, stay away from me, because there's an immediate reaction to that term when associated to food or to, so, it's cultural. Again, there's a lot of things that we have like that.
Yes. I know I like my leather jackets and I like beefsteaks.
Well, even in Italy, the way like tobacco is cured in there. So like even in Italy, you guys have roots back to Kentucky, correct? 'Cause,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Yes.
It's actually American
yeah,
tobacco. Yes, yes. Actually, the tobacco tradition in Italy has been very, very old.
Right.
Well, we all know that Cristoforo Colombo
Exactly.
brought back some stuff
And
in Europe.
Vespucci, we have
Yeah.
Vespucci, we
But-
got Columbus, we got everybody. Yeah,
Yes,
the Italians were the great discoverers of the New World, and they brought that tobacco back.
yes, yes.
You know,
Yeah.
and that's the beauty of being able to say that the varietals have changed over time, and all of these countries, South American countries,
Mhm.
North American company. I mean, tobacco is grown in every country.
It's a weed.
Basically,
Yeah.
it is. It is
grows all over.
Even in Africa now,
Yes,
we're getting some great
tobacco is
African leaves now.
wonderful.
absolutely beautiful
Wonderful.
tobacco being.
yeah.
Yeah,
And there are countries that you would not have thought of immediately as tobacco growing countries in the north of Europe, for instance. Yeah, and in Italy there is a very, very old tradition, and there's great makers of tobacco, more known, less known. In fact, the Italian Cigar and Tobacco Festival takes place in Umbria, actually in the area where a lot of good tobacco is grown, and it's really very nice to be there. There's a
And
nice.
I mean,
museum.
Toscana
Yeah,
is kind of
Toscana.
like the
Yeah.
traditional Italian cigarro that ultimately has become part of the history from popes and cardinals. Everyone has been smoking tobacco for such a long time.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
even in the Toscanos, I mean, you're
Oh, yeah.
talking about a
Toscano.
tobacco that it's a dark fired Kentucky leaf,
Yes.
which in that cigar alone is not a cigar you need to keep in your humidor.
No.
It keeps very well outside in your pocket and on this and that. So it's not something that has to take. It's not the normal leaf that you need the baby and this amount of humidification and stuff like this. It's something you could just buy it, keep it in your pocket. When you're ready to smoke it, pull it out, light it up, and boom, you're ready to go. I mean,
Yeah,
In
and
Italy, in
there
Italy,
are.
I'm sorry. In Italy, do you find that people gravitate towards a specific type of tobacco, meaning milder, medium, or more full body?
Yeah, you read in my mind actually.
I looked right inside. I said, I'm going to ask first.
Yeah, so it's very interesting to see. Now I'm going to mention one brand. There's more great brands that make tobacco cigars in Italy, in the segment of the fire cured tobacco, and it's amazing to see how lately there have been cigars that are very mild in nicotine level. So really there is attention to a new segment of consumers that look for this type of characteristics, even in the fire cured tobacco cigars.
Wow, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Very.
Well,
interesting.
I know there's a difference in tobacco in general, because I think I was, I don't know, 14, 15 years old. I was smoking cigarettes.
No, Bob, no, we can't say
That was
ages.
100
I mean,
years old.
because
That was 100 years ago.
And I was on the Nina when we traveled across the ocean. But Mario, Ronnie will remember, he smoked the State brand cigarettes. And of course, I was a Marlboro smoker. And when I went there and I gave him a Marlboro because he wanted to try the American cigarette, he went crazy over this. And everybody had to have the Marlboro. And we had to go to the black market to buy Marlboro cigarettes because they were so expensive there. And oh, the American tobacco is unbelievable. They went crazy over it. It's like, 35 cents a pack in America, and it was like $6. This is back in 1967. $6 on the black market for an American cigarette.
Wow.
Oh yeah, it was
But
really.
we don't care about cigarettes on this show.
No,
Bob.
we
We care about
tobacco,
cigars.
but the difference in tobacco and the tastes, which was there compared to what we had. And that
Why don't we hold off for a month?
Cigars and pipe tobacco. I bought pipe tobacco too for my cousin, and it was a Dunhill, a special tobacco that I had mixed myself in Dunhill, and he had never smoked anything like it. In Italy, he says, no, we never had anything like this. It was a heavy English tobacco, a lot of latakia, and we went crazy over this. I used to have to send tins to Italy because they didn't have it.
Yeah.
Everything was very mild, very, very weak, as he put it. Very weak tobacco.
Well, let's hold it there, guys.
Yeah. On the other hand, there have been also some. We produce cigar. Well, there are good brands here in Italy that produce non-fire cured tobacco here in Italy, and then they make Caribbean style cigars.
They do. Oh, fantastic.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
Nostrano del Brenta is one of them.
Okay.
And they actually started very, very mild, and then they felt that their consumer wanted to have something a little bit stronger. So it really depends on what you're looking at. But there are generations of new smokers that really are demanding. They want to be educated, and they may be looking for something different than brands are used to.
Do you have cigar lounges in Italy?
Why don't we get to that? Once we take a break.
Oh, we got to take a break already.
We
We got to take a break with sponsor time. Bruce has to go.
We'll be right back.
We will be right back.
To our listeners, if you have some questions, start writing them up, and Frank will keep an eye on them, and we can ask those questions from the audience.
Yep,
okay?
absolutely.
And we'll give some of the audience a chance to go do with their business, and they'll come back right after our sponsors. Folks, make sure you share this show right now with all you know. Frank, take it away.
Howard G Cigars is a dynamic new cigar brand grown from a love for cigar culture and a respect for the artisanship behind the craft. We are a minority-owned family business based in Orlando, Florida. Our current collection delivers 3 exclusive lines: Black Moses, Magic Stick, All Pro Series, featuring Leon Searcy's signature cigar and Ike Taylor's one-of-a-kind.
You got the one-of-a-kind rankings. They got me at 89. I'm cool with that.
We are focused on evolving as a dynamic brand and bringing you new flavor-filled blends that you'll enjoy and want to share. Visit our website at www.howardgcigars.com. You can find a full list of our retail partners there too. Thank you for making us part of your humidor.
This is Phil Morgan, General Manager of Missouri Meerschaum Corncob Pipes in Washington, Missouri. Our mission since 1869 has been to produce great smoking pipes that anyone can afford. We guarantee our pipes won't be your most expensive, but they just might be the ones you smoke the most. At Missouri Meerschaum Company, we don't just sell our corncob pipes, we grow them, make them, and smoke them. Missouri Meerschaum, Washington, Missouri, since 1869.
Loyalty, passion, courage. These are the founding principles of K by Karen Berger Cigars. The Maduro, the Habano, and the newly rated 93 by Cigar Journal Connecticut. Do yourself a favor and check out this wonderful line of cigars that come from a completely linear company from seed to your hands. Blue Smoke Atlanta is the vision of Robin Blue, founder and CEO. and represents an award-winning luxury smoking accessory line based in Atlanta and sold worldwide. Since 2019, Blue Smoke Atlanta's goal was to redefine traditional smoking accessories into a timeless collection of exquisitely handcrafted luxury products to include cigar pokers, cannabis clips, jewelry, and other awesome things. For an elevated smoking experience, visit us at www.bluesmokeatl.com.
At Mountain Smoke Premium Tobacco, we specialize solely in the finest hand-rolled, craft, and boutique cigars on the market. Mountain Smoke Premium Tobacco is sure to have something that will excite you. Shop our online humidor at www.mountainsmokewv.com.
A family of 4 generations in tobacco. It started in Odense, Denmark, 141 years ago, 1882, with a factory and a retail store by Erik Peter Stogies. 4th Generation is a premium quality brand consisting of a selection of tin and loose tobaccos made in Denmark, pipes made of the finest quality briar, and superior accessories from leather goods, lighters, and pipe tools. The selection of 4th Generation products are available in premium pipe and cigar stores in the US and many European countries. Check out 4thGenPipeTobacco.com.
And we're
Back, folks. Welcome, welcome. Again, everybody hit the share button. If you have some questions, please put them on. We can ask Franca those questions. Frank will keep an eye on them and put them out there for you. Franca,
I got a question, though. Do they have cigar lounges in Italy like we have here?
Very few. There are restrictive laws. You may hear about European regulations that are implemented in national laws, and even from an Italian. From the Italian side, there's been recently again something that I read in the news about pushing to restrict them even further.
Oh,
Wow.
God.
Wow.
Ridiculous.
And now, is that something that is controlled by the EU? And those laws and restrictions are being handed down to each of the EU countries? Or is it strictly Italian?
Is it the starter?
Yeah, there is a European regulation that all member states should implement in their own countries. And they, so citizens, when surveyed, they believe that that's enough. There are other priorities now.
Right.
But some countries really make it a big point to go even further than that. So the European document that we are referring to is not even in all points really regulation. It's more like a recommendation to the member states. If you talk with European lobby institutions like Forest or others, they will all tell you the same. Sometimes it goes to the point, it's gold plating, it's no longer really clearly not taking care of people's health. It's really going farther and farther.
So the problem we have here is now gone global.
Well, I think, Franca, I think the problem is that once you have governments overseeing a product like tobacco, which is an agricultural product, ultimately very pure in its form, there isn't any additives to a cigar. No one's adding anything. It's a naturally cured product. It's hand rolled. It's nothing that is, even the machine rolled cigars are not adding anything. Maybe they might do flavors or things like that, but I'm talking about the premium cigars that are
without the chemicals.
Naturale. I think it becomes something that is a taxable item that governments take advantage of to tax and to regulate in a way that ultimately, in the beginnings of tobacco, it was a form of currency. You know,
It was.
now it's become a form of currency
Yeah,
for
and
governments
called
to tax,
taxation.
right? To
Taxation.
tax,
Oh
and
yeah.
regulate, and it doesn't allow the consumer the freedom to enjoy in a way that ultimately there hasn't been a stigma attached to cigar smoking like it has been to cigarette smoking. So cigarette smoking is very different than cigar smoking. You're not inhaling. There isn't additives added to it. So I think all of these regulations hurt the industry, and it doesn't allow the consumer to ultimately enjoy just the moments that cigars allow you to have. Because cigar smoking, no one is upset when they're or agitated when they're smoking a cigar. They're relaxed. They're in an environment that they want to be in. They're with friends. They're with people that they enjoy. So it's difficult. And I'm sure in the European countries, they face the same problems that we face.
Yeah, it's called government interference.
Well, and here's the big problem. The big problem that we have here in the United States is that we are getting the premium cigar is getting roped into the vaping and the cigarettes, which we don't belong in the same category. And that's why we are fighting so hard in the United States with the BCA, the PCA. If you're not members, please join, because these are the groups that are fighting to keep our premium cigars in our hands.
Right.
It's the difference between addiction and passion. This is not an addictive product.
No,
with cigarettes are an addiction.
I can smoke a cigar tonight, and I can go a few days, a week, a month if I want to, and not have another one.
He can't because he associates it with a drink.
Bob's not the norm, okay?
Right.
I mean, Bob wakes up with a cigar in his mouth. I mean, he's
whiskey first.
So, Frank, do you have that wheel by any chance?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's talk about the wheel, and let's get Franca to break that down, because that's really what the people want to know. How did you come up with this wheel? And explain it to the audience, because they can get this wheel. They can go on Cigar Sense and look for it themselves and follow all their questions, answer everything, and they can find themselves on this wheel.
Man, I can tell you, I'm starting to get into the second, third in this the Newman cigar here, and I'm starting to get a heavier cocoa waft of it. It's transition. It started off with that toasted Italian bread, and now it's transitioning, and I'm getting more of that cocoa, that right on the nose, like the tip of the nose.
How do you accept, like, if you said, you know what, the guys from the Great Cigar and Pipe Show said, hey, we need to try this cigar. We have to tell the folks at JC Newman to send you these cigars so that you can put together an analysis from a truly an analytical standpoint, so that you can put together a true algorithm that kind of breaks this down. Because I know you've done that with numerous cigars. And one of the cigars that we'll talk about is the K by Karen Berger Maduro.
Yes.
So now when we looked at that cigar, there's different pieces that come up. What are, if you were to say, what did Cigar Sense notice about the cigar, and why was it awarded an award by Cigar Sense?
Yeah. So and you can see, I don't know how clearly the chart comes over if you share it, but in a cigar, it's not like a cigar is good if there's this and that, right? It is a combination of a lot of different characteristics that make it first pass successfully our internal quality threshold, and second, we look at how consumers like the cigar. And as you, Frank, were saying, how can I explain better? So what you were saying when you were talking about David putting the data together and based on our analysis, making an algorithm so that we can recommend. So, it is working in this way. We recommend cigars. There is one algorithm, okay, for the recommender. There's one that was built in 2015 and was improved, but there's only one. And we're not biasing it towards certain brands or certain type of cigars. It is purely based in the recommendations on the characteristics of the cigars as found by our panel and the detailed personal preferences of each individual. Each list will be different simply because the personal preferences of our individual member are different. But the algorithm is the same, and it works based on 2 data sets that I told you. So that's how we determine how well appreciated the cigar is among consumers. It's by matching the cigar profile with the consumer's preferences, and then aggregating the data. And we always report at anonymous level. Of course, we respecting our privacy has been done by Cigar Sense before the GDPR. But
now, do you do this? Now, my question is, so this is if folks were to go to your website and they were to try it, it's for free, right? It's a free, you go on, you basically set up a profile for yourself, right? And you go in, people then give you the data set of what their preferences are based on their flavor profile. So ultimately you look at that wheel that we discussed, and people will then say, well, I do like cigars that have like a nutty cocoa, coffee, toasted kind of preference. And you will guide them to cigars that actually fill that need for what they're looking for.
Yes. And we penalize the cigars that don't have or have a lot of those characteristics that people tell us they don't like, which is very important.
Yes.
Sometimes people forget to update their profiles, and that makes a big difference. And so, as you were saying, people sign up for free. And we simplified it. It was even more complicated before, because we actually offered people to manually select what they liked and did not like. But then we really saw that people got lost. So we needed to simplify it for them. And not to say that people are not capable, but when confronted with all of those rulers and charts, etc. So it's hard sometimes. You can say I like a cigar, but it's more difficult to say what you liked in that cigar, or especially it's easier to say what you didn't like, but say this and that is a little bit more complicated. So you go by trial and error. Now it is simpler. Now you just need to give us 3 cigars that you liked, and we infer an initial profile for you, and we give you the first recommendations. And then what is very important is to give feedback on those initial recommendations, because only based on the further feedback we can be more accurate and we can spot on.
Right. So you give a recommendation. Now they give you feedback. You recommend. You ask for them to come back to you and say, yes, I did like the recommendation, but I would have preferred something a little bit more heavy on nicotine, or whatever the case.
Specific
so then you
notes.
can, you can really dial in for
tailor it
in that individual. Now, do you do that based on the person's geography? So if I were to sign up and I was in let's just say I was in, I don't know,
Florida.
No, Switzerland, and I gave you certain things. Now, are you going to take into account the manufacturers that are there, or not at all? You're going to say, you know what, based on that, these are the cigars that are going to work for you, but they may not be able to actually readily get that cigar. But those are the cigars that would line up with your flavor profile.
Yes. Yeah, great question. Thank you. So first of all, the recommendations are not tweaked to reflect any regional presence of cigars. But first of all, because it is very difficult for us, we're present in over 80 countries. It would be very difficult for us to gather all the necessary data, and by the time we have updated our system, things change, right?
Of course.
So it's practically impossible to keep track of all of that at the central level. But what we do is provide our members the possibility to filter out either certain brands, certain countries that they know they cannot get.
Okay.
So the free membership has some limitation in the access to data, but our full members, premium members, totally can use all the filters in the data search, and a lot of things that they can do. Free members can see how it works. But after some searches, for instance, then they are encouraged to upgrade. And I also wanted to say something to this point. We are independent. We don't receive any sponsorships, and we don't have external capital. And so this is a member supported work.
Member driven.
Yes.
Yes, membership driven, and I can tell you, we invest a lot in keeping this alive, and in training our panel, and in updating everything we can to be as accurate as possible.
Now, knowing the vast, I mean, let's face it, there are thousands of cigars that are manufactured. Do you ask the manufacturers, do you ask them, hey, can you send us your cigars so that you can be part of the process of, so it's hard, because if you don't get the cigars, how are you going to be able to make a recommendation? Because you're working off of a blind data set. You need to have cigars in order to recommend. Right?
Sure.
I mean,
you got to taste them.
You got to taste. Your panel has to have them in front of them. They have to smoke them.
Yeah. And especially for sensory analysis, we need to test quite a number of samples to make it statistically relevant. So yes, we do get samples from manufacturers, but we do buy a lot of samples as well. We prioritize the members, the premium members' requests. If they can't find a cigar in the database, they ask us about that cigar, then we purchase it in multiple samples, of course. It's a different way to look at promotion. Manufacturers are used to place ads to be exposed, for their brands to be out to everyone on a generic level. Here, first of all, we are not widely known to, well, thanks to you, we will hopefully be more. But it's all recommendations that they maybe cannot control, and there is, maybe some different mindset that encourages those manufacturers that send them samples send us samples to do so, because they know that when we recommend a cigar, there's a much higher chance that people will buy it than when they will just see something recommended in a generic way.
Right.
But it's so different what we're doing that sometimes it's hard even to communicate clearly and explain very well all these benefits when you're really used to a mainstream model.
Well, yeah, no, you are totally outside of the mainstream. No one has considered this because, people do get jaded. Even we've had people say, oh, you guys only recommend cigars that are people that are your sponsors. But we're not like that. We do recommend other manufacturers cigars that are not our sponsors because we enjoy their cigar.
Of course.
So it's very interesting that you've taken this approach, because a lot of people are saying, how can they do this without being financially invested in the outcome? So I applaud you and your husband for creating a model that is unlike anything that I know that we've seen. And a lot of people, I know, we've had people say, oh, those guys are the great cigar and pipe show. They're a bunch of shivs. All they do is promote cigars that
those are idiots. Anyway,
but it happens. So that's why for us, and having you here, I think it's important, because it allows people to understand that it's not about the sponsors, it's about your preference, what you like.
Exactly.
In the end, we may recommend a cigar. It doesn't mean you're going to like it.
Yeah.
Because again, we're not doing it based on
it's personal
analytical
Again, it comes down
numbers.
to that.
We're just basing it on our preferences, on what we like.
You know what I wanted to ask? The panel that you're talking about, are those people strictly in place in Italy? Or is that, people around the world who are participating in this?
Yeah, no, they are pretty much spread. Actually, in the early times when we created the panel, I was trying to be careful about spreading the palettes of our panel across the world regions. Until we've realized that if you apply sensory analysis, it does matter, but less. You see what I mean? Because if I am trained, if I'm trained to recognize certain aromas, if we do like an exercise where I give one of our standards with some cedar wood, okay. It has to be cedar wood to everyone, and it has to be described in an aligned intensity. Of course, if the samples that we are testing are consistently produced.
Right.
So we need to eliminate the variability as much as possible from our end through training, not through finding people that have similar tastes or else.
Right.
Our taste does not matter at all. We need to describe and not judge.
Very
well, that goes to what you said earlier about geographically how people, what they eat, even the air you breathe. I mean, everything comes into play.
Yes.
So yeah, that's why I was wondering, are your people spread out throughout the world? Because you'll have a lot of differences of opinion.
Yes.
On how something smokes, how it tastes. I mean, I could have a certain meal and light up a cigar right after that, and I might have a different experience from what you just finished eating,
Yeah, we have guidelines as well. So, of course, the tests are done at home. So we're not in a lab so that we can manage really controlled environment totally.
Right.
But we have guidelines, and when we talk to our panelists, they give us the feedback that confirms that they are following the guidelines, and that means being mindful about when your buds still have molecules that affect the flavor that you will get from the cigar.
I mean, I think what we were talking about like this cigar that we're smoking from JC Newman,
Mm-hmm.
the salivation that occurs immediately is part of the importance that a cigar brings to the table, because when you're salivating, that is really the moment that your taste buds have opened up,
Start coming alive.
Yeah,
They're
they
going
come
on
alive,
overtime.
and they allow you to really describe the cigar in a way that you want to. And I think most people at home, they're just smoking to smoke. Not to say that that's a bad thing. There's nothing wrong to smoke to just smoke. I think people who become more seasoned as they smoke cigars, they are able to not judge, but describe the nuances that a cigar brings to them in the moment. So it's very much in the moment, because it could change. Like Bob said, depends on where you are, what you had to eat, your emotional state, what you're drinking.
I mean,
your
you're pairing
emotional
it with
state.
something.
You may be in.
It could be the company you're in at that time.
Exactly.
Everything is influenced.
Everything comes into play.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Hey, folks, get your questions ready for the. We're going to go to our last bunch of sponsors, and then we're going to come back into our wonderful segment, and then we'll take a few questions from the audience for Franca, and then we have our special giveivay tonight.
That over there.
That is a spider that is
Wow,
crawling
it's
on
coming down on our screen over
No.
there.
Even a spider wants to know about the cigars.
It smelled it. It smelled that Newman cigar, and it's like, I gotta have more.
Forrest the spider.
All right, folks.
We will be back now. Franca, I don't know if you're familiar with our little segment, which we call Stump the Chooch.
Ilazino.
And ultimately,
You woke up her eyes. Look at that.
I woke her up because the Chooch, everyone knows, although some people who may be listening don't know, the Chooch is become kind of like our
mascot.
Our mascot.
It's who we are. It's who we are.
Before we start the segment, when we go to our sponsor break, we make sure that people know that it's coming. So we give them a little bit of this.
Non siamo andati a scuola.
Okay.
When we come back, folks, we'll be asking questions of Franca and the guys. At first, I love history, Franca, so we ask some historic questions to everyone, and we make this a fun game, and then we usually give away a giveaway. And Ronnie, tell us a little bit about what we're giving away as whoever the ultimate prize winner tonight.
What was that, Kyle?
I saw Cigar Medics jump on, so I wanted to make sure he saw that I'm still using his lighter.
It's
Luigi.
Luigi.
Tommaso, everybody.
We got another Italian jumping on.
The lighter is not for the giveaway tonight, so don't worry.
No, but the giveaway tonight is from one of our sponsors, the Oliva Sample Pack.
Nice.
5 amazing cigars. One that was just released that you probably have not even had a chance to even smoke or even seen before.
This is a one of a kind right now.
Right
One
now.
of a kind.
Absolutely. Nice. So that's going to be our giveaway tonight. So, folks, stay tuned, share, and let's go to our sponsors.
Cigar in the Bottle is 2 palate-pleasing gifts in one. A specially blended Grand Palmier XS VSOP cognac is elegantly contained in patented numbered bottles. Winner of back-to-back-to-back medals at the LA Spirits Awards, Cigar in the Bottle inventor Forbidden Johnny teams up with Vartan and Hendrik Kellner for this custom-blended Vartan Reserva cigar, well-preserved in a hand-blown glass chamber featuring Bovita two-way humidification.
At Norwood Royal Cigars, we have the biggest walk-in humidor in the Midwest. Our 1,500 square foot humidor is home to almost 4,000 different cigars that will meet the need of any cigar enthusiast. We have boutique blends to the more traditional selections and everything in between. From the novice beginner to the aficionado, the knowledgeable staff at NRC will find the perfect cigar for you. Located on the northwest side of Chicago, we want to be your shop for all your cigar wants and needs. As always, at Norwood Royal Cigars, light it, smoke it, love it.
Experience the magic of Rockefeller Cigars today. With 11 years steeped in tradition, passion, and mystery of the leaf, Rockefeller has a cigar just for you. Be like the greatest magicians and make Rockefeller Cigars appear in your lineup with any of our 4 lines. The Nicaraguan, the Dominican Blue, the Vintage Gold, and our new LE, the Art of Magic.
Over the Rhine Premium Cigars is located in the heart of Cincinnati, 50 yards south of historic Findlay Market. We offer both known brands and the finest boutique cigars available. Feel free to bring your favorite beverage and relax in Dude Daycare, where dudes of all genders are welcome. We look forward to serving you at Over the Rhine Premium Cigars. And we are a proud member of the Boutique Cigar Association.
All begins at the very first climate-controlled Rodriguez Olivan cigar factory located in the Dominican Republic. Our 2 major brands include Don Olivan, which are boutique cigars suited for that individual who takes great pride in something unique. BAMF is our armed forces cigars, designed for that badass mother effer. Not only are you smoking a great premium cigar, a percentage of the proceeds is donated to our heroic men and women in uniform.
And we're back.
Hey, we're back. No. We're having a little chickatine, though.
We're having a little chickatine. I wanted to go back.
Salud.
Actually, since we are doing a giveaway with our friends over at Oliva, you did a Oliva Figurado, the Milano, last year, and you awarded it. Tell me about the award and why it got the award as far as the Series V Milano. We love the cigar. It's a fantastic cigar.
Yeah, the Milano Figurado is one of my favorites.
One of all of our favorites. So tell us a little bit about the graph.
Yeah. So this is really a great cigar that scored in terms of internal quality among the highest in our database. In terms of the sensory descriptors, so
you want me to put that back up? Let me put that back up.
Yeah, I don't remember them all by heart. You know?
There we go.
I do remember this cigar, but I don't want to describe out of my own perception memory because it would not be respectful for my own principles.
Yeah.
We had combinations of wood, more cedar wood, and some nuts that were predominant in most tertius. Woods changed to sandalwood and other precious woods, still maintaining, the overall great balance between sweet and savory backbone with a medium nicotine strength.
Yeah.
And the cigar basically scored, when we measured, scored also particularly well in terms of meeting consumer preferences. It was on a very high range. You had probably from the chart this, exactly, that's what I mean. So this looks complicated, and probably we don't need to go into the details here. It's just pointing to the range that indicates how popular it is among people palate, and this is worldwide. Okay, it doesn't look at regions. with particular insights at regional level. It would be, too much to put it into a post that we have done when the cigar was awarded. But that launched our awards program. And every cigar in our database is eligible as long as they pass our internal quality threshold, which is calculated based on the data that we consolidate from the panel analysis. And then we look, of course, at how at worldwide level the cigar is appreciated. So that those I think that those are the metrics that align to the quality. If you look at quality, of course, quality is measured across so many different production processes, but the final quality is the quality that is the consumer, right? And so that must be based, and that is also the high ISO definition of quality. Quality needs to meet consumer desires, needs, implicit or explicit. And so I think that this award recognizes pretty well what is considered quality according to Cigar Sense data.
Right.
I want to put you on the spot. I want to put her on the spot for a second.
There's one question here. Is how often, Marshall Morgan wants to know, how often do you add panelists?
Yeah. So we don't do it very often, to be honest, because it is quite a time-consuming, energy-consuming process, because we have now elaborated a screening, and there's an onboarding that is more of a course, basically, even before you start. And then it is the ongoing training to align to the rest of the panel. So it is quite a learning curve for as far as I can see it.
Yes.
And so we don't do it very often. We have just concluded the screening, the onboarding, and the inclusion into our panel of a few people. And we might open that up again to other people, maybe later this year.
Oh, perfect.
So we were the last four?
Yeah, no, at least.
It would be great to have you all. You would be great panelists.
We have somebody saying hello from Aruba.
Oh, wow.
Thank you for all your time and experience. For Franca, what cigar does she personally
That's what I was going to ask her. What's her favorite?
Also, did the team taste and smoke the same Vitola or size? And which size is most common used for the test? And do you do training? A lot of questions.
Wow, that's a big...
Thank you, Charles. Okay, so what cigars I personally like and Vitolas? I like small ring gauges.
Okay.
So Coronas are probably, I can smoke Lonsdales, but Rothschilds, Robustos are great. I'm actually testing myself less and less. But when we have Robustos, I do even test them, because there are often more Robustos that we get in the panel, to answer also the other question. And so, because I have a short memory, even if I reband, even if I'm the one who rebands, if it's a lot of Robustos with similar wrapper color, I might tend to forget what they are.
Sure.
But I test less and less myself anyway, because I prefer to move to panel leader. It's much better to focus on the panel performance if you don't test yourself. So that's good. What was the other question?
The other question was, let's see.
Do you do training? Yes. Yes. So I'm asked to conduct some in-presence training as well, on top of course, doing it for my panel. I do it also for other people. And I wrote a course, which is called the Cigar Tasting Course, that is available, that's basically embeds a lot of the learning. I'm still learning a lot. There might be another edition, but I think at this point, it really represents pretty well a lot of the things that I've learned during my sensory courses that I followed myself. Because, of course, we want to add a scientific approach to a course that we would make available.
Right.
And so that pretty well reflects, the sensory science approach.
Absolutely.
So you'll be taking my course next year?
Bob's got a course.
With a lot of pleasure.
Oh, well, that's fantastic. Franca, is there anything else that you like to tell our audience about your Cigar Sense that they could go on or talk more about it?
They should go online right now to cigarsense.com and basically sign up for free.
Sign up.
I mean, sign up for free.
Whether you're a seasoned smoker or a newbie, I mean, there's something to learn.
Right.
Yes, definitely.
So the sun comes up in Italy and she has to go to sleep again. Let's do it.
So yeah, indeed. Don't even if you are an experienced smoker. I've had many members who told me that, oh wow, I never thought about that cigar, or new smokers. Of course, as long as you have already smoked 3 cigars that you remember you liked, then the journey is there for you as well. So it is for all smokers who really find flavor important. And there are a lot of people who say flavor is the most important criterion to choose new cigars to try. In fact, flavor is a discriminant because our palate is our final judge.
Right.
We may choose cigars based on so many different factors.
Yeah.
Of course, the brand, the packaging, the price, everything else. But the palate, in the end, is the ultimate judge.
Yep.
Yes.
And so it depends on how much importance we want to give to that last step. And if it is a lot of importance, Cigar Sense is definitely for you.
Oh, look at Marshall. Marshall Morgan says, I took the course and passed it. Wow.
Yeah.
What grade did you get, though?
Well, it didn't.
Doesn't matter. He passed.
Yes. And the course is for great people like Marshall, and it is for discerning consumers, and it is for professionals. We had whole sales team on the course because it's not just about how to identify aromas, etc. It is how to tell a story that is authentic, that really talks about the cigar. And sometimes it is not the most obvious thing.
Right.
And you guys might know very well because you do review cigars and you know what it means.
Yes.
So, and we started last week. So
yeah, that one was started 100 years ago. He started when Columbus in 1492. Bob was on the.
He was on the Nina.
Pinta.
The Pinta.
Or was it the other one?
I thought you said the Nina, not the Santa Maria.
Not the Santa Maria, because that was the last.
No, I didn't want to go on that one.
He didn't want to go on that one. That was it was too late in the voyage.
All right, folks.
Let's get to the questions.
Get to our questions, and it will be for the 4 of us. Yeah. And everybody gets a time to practice, get their answers in too. And then they'll get a chance for tonight's giveaway, which is going to be a sample pack by Oliva.
5 pack. This is over a $50 value right here.
Over a $50
and that's
value.
Is that even available yet?
Yes,
or it is out.
Right?
Yeah, it's available.
Just came out, and there's some amazing stuff in there.
So your brick and mortar may not even have it yet.
That's right. So you could get it. One of
5 different types of cigars.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And Okay, so I'm going to ask a couple of questions. Now, Franca, you are more than welcome to answer. If you know the answer, please feel free to say it. No answer is
a chooch answer.
A chooch answer. A wrong answer.
Unless it's Joey answering.
It's Joe. If Joe answers,
everything that Joey answers is a chooch.
What color was Nero's underwear?
So I'm going to tell you about this date in history. You know, today's date in history was very important because if we look back and we go back to 1988, Bob, 1988. 1988.
Oh, you're really coming up in the world here.
Yeah, well, you know.
It's about time we got into the
the 80s. Everybody got big hair.
C. Everett Koop declared that nicotine was as addictive as what two?
Marijuana and heroin.
Coach.
Well, Bob got one of those right. I said two.
Yeah.
So two things.
Is the other one alcohol?
It's to carry a health warning. So in the U.S., C. Everett Koop stated that he declared that nicotine was as addictive as, Bob said, heroin. What was the other drug?
Morphine.
Cocaine.
Oh, there it is.
Cocaine. Cocaine. Very good. Very good. Cocaine. So
Riding that train.
Now this is a good one. I never knew this, but in 2000,
Luigi had cocaine in there. What is he thinking?
I know Luigi,
Luigi, wipe that white stuff off your lip.
He was watching too much Miami Vice. I think. That was the problem.
Hello to my little friend.
He was creating more stuff, believe me.
Oh,
that's how he has come up with amazing products.
In 2010, Bob, 2010, not long ago, only 13
pretty
years
recent.
ago, on this date in history, Japan conducts the very first wedding in which the couple were married by what?
Robot.
Look at Bob.
I know that.
He knows that was a robot.
Yep.
Robot.
I was programming the robot.
Bob was the robot. It had this AI, and he married the two Japanese couple in Japan. He was there.
And the marriage was voided right after that.
Robot, yep.
Yeah.
All right. One more for everybody. And, you know, this is, we'll see. We'll see if Bob knows this. On this day in history, very important, the Beach Boys released this classic album, which basically ranked as number 2 as influential records ever released.
Good Vibrations.
No, this is the album that was released.
Yeah, I know
Bob,
what it is.
and,
I know what it is.
and May 16th, it was 1966. The Beach Boy released this classic album.
I know what it is. I know what it is.
Is it Surf Songs?
No. It was.
Bob loves this thing. Listen, if you are this lover, you
Little
would
Red
get
Dukes.
the album. No. It is Pet Sounds.
Pet Sounds. That was Brian Wilson's masterpiece.
It
That was like his.
Joe Gulino says Cheeseburger in Paradise.
Joshua Rivas had that. Nice call, Joshua. Nice.
Yeah, Joshua
Tim Pecorini came in right after that. Yeah.
Luigi had it way before everybody.
Luigi is on
Luigi.
Look
at
fire
Luigi.
tonight.
Wow.
Luigi is on fire tonight.
Man, he really wants that 5-pack.
He does.
He's an Italian, you know. He had to join in. I've been waiting all night for him.
He's been drinking Chianti all night waiting for the
I think he had a little stranga right now. I don't know.
This is for our audience, and they will win that beautiful 5-pack from Oliva. So, folks, listen very carefully. Very, very carefully.
Every word is important.
Every word is important. Okay. In 1651.
I was born.
Yeah,
I was born.
No, yours was 1461.
Cardinale Prospero of Santa Croce learned about the medicinal properties of a strain of tobacco and then brought those seeds back to Italy. What strain of tobacco did he bring back?
Ooh, it's for the audience, Bob. Don't answer that. You know what it is.
I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it.
What do we got?
What do we got?
Medicinal properties of a strain of tobacco in 1651. First brought back to Italy.
Joe Gulino says ointment.
Joe Gulino says chocolate malts.
Luigi, it's a tough one, but answer it. Come on. Salami.
Salami. What?
Cardinale salami.
Yeah, the old salami tobacco.
Salami tobacco. This is called a chooch answer.
This is when he brought back the prosciutto.
A gabagol. He put the gabagol in there.
Oh, he is.
Playing tonight.
He's the chooch.
No, Bruce, it's all been mailed out. The dining room table is clean. We can put your prices back on there till next month.
Remember,
the
folks,
dining room table was mailed out.
This particular strand of tobacco was brought back to Italy. It was one of the first strands of tobacco to come back to Italy.
Think back to Virginia.
Joe's just naming freaking food here.
No.
We know what's on Joe's mind.
I'm going with Luigi, even though he had a lot of Zambuca tonight.
Come on, everybody.
The strand of tobacco was one of the first strands of tobacco brought back for. And then Joey says the Capicolas.
He's just saying. He's just naming all the meats. He's all naming all the meats.
He's only showing what kind of real chooch he is. Unbelievable.
He's a true chooch of grand folks.
We've got a picture of Joe as a chooch. I mean, we can put that up.
It was then. Remember,
wasn't it harvest in Virginia?
In 1574,
Marshall is saying fire cured.
No. In 1574, Nicola Tornabuoni, he's the Florine ambassador to Paris, brought seeds of another strain of tobacco called Nicotiana tabacum to Tuscany. So then all of the varietals were a blend of these two tobaccos.
All right, so you got Christopher saying sweet.
Luigi says Nicotina rustica.
Luigi. It has to be an Italian. Luigi says Nicotina rustica.
That's his cousin.
That is right. Luigi. I knew I had to get an Italian to answer that one.
Listen, Luigi, I'm going to tell you now. When you get these, you got to put them in the humidor for a while. It has been shipped from Miami, from who knows where, and it's been shipped to here, and it's been sitting here for a little while. So you got to cook them.
Check on the humidification.
Well, yeah, I think he's got the humidification and check it all. Get that? It's right over there. Let's show everybody.
I know
the
somebody who can get him one of those.
So, folks, while you do that, you have to get this humidification system.
The humidimeter. He's got the humidimeter, and now he's got the humidimeter plus. Plus, he's got the baller cutter.
Ooh,
I mean, Luigi is truly an engineer and an inventor. Franca. He has some of the most amazing products that you need to get in Italy because ultimately it's the only way to truly test a cigar to know that you're smoking it at the right humidification level. Because
all your testers need this.
Yes.
Honestly, they need this before they even smoke a cigar to make sure it's at the right level with the.
Because sometimes if the cigar is too dry, preciso. You got to be precise. Luigi, we love Luigi. We love his products. And he's a wonderful guy. And he just happens to be Italian. So it's nice.
Yeah.
Cigar Medics.
Cigar Medics.
Hey, maybe we can meet up with Luigi and save on postage. I mean, he's not that far.
Yes, it is an excellent product.
And if he mails it now with the mail in Italy, you'll get it by October.
Does Franca have a line of cigars? What's that? Miss Cigars tested 8 from which country?
From which country?
I'm not sure what that means.
Have a line of cigars.
Yeah.
You don't have a line of cigars. You're not producing a cigar
No.
yet, are you, Franca?
No.
Not yet.
No.
Like the Cigar Sense.
No, but guys, I don't know if I interfere with your program here, but if you've got another nice question that is not Googleable, I would like to offer a premium membership.
Wow. A premium membership, folks.
Wow.
Yes.
Can we answer for that too?
This is for a free trip to Italy.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Do we have another question, Frank?
Of course I do. You know me.
Right.
I have a backup. Franca
Back
knows
up to the backup. To the backup.
Franca knows that Franco has everything covered.
Yes.
We are very close.
All right.
Franco's head just went like this.
Premium. And I end in an O.
Premium membership to Cigar Sense.
Premium
Come on,
membership
everybody.
On this question, folks. So get Google ready.
Or Siri.
Or Siri or
Alexa.
Or whatever you want.
Whatever you're using these days.
Okay. On this date in history in 1988.
Ooh.
Wow.
Wait, didn't we already talk about that?
No.
We had 88 before, right?
I know.
All right, so we have another 88. A lot of things happened.
Oh, 98.
98. Oh, okay. All right. See?
Everything.
See?
1998.
98.
Yes. This guitarist
Ooh.
fell while reaching for a book of nude art in his Connecticut home. The fall broke his ribs, causing him to postpone many dates on their Bridges to Babylon tour.
Oh, where's Timmy? Timmy Paterni's got this one. Trust me on this one.
Wow.
Oh, man.
There we go.
All right.
Oh, come on.
Okay.
Guitarist fell.
He's reaching for the nude book.
Reaching for the nude book.
Peter Frampton.
No, Frampton, no.
Hendrix? No.
He was dead. Joey, he was dead.
It was the ghost of Hendrix.
Clapton didn't reach for the nude book.
No.
And he never did the
Clapton.
Bridges of Babylon tour, by the way. So that's a Chooch answer. Chooch answer.
Who was that? Joey?
No.
Yeah, of course it's Joey.
Bridges to Babylon tour. Joey Gulino says,
Don't even answer. Don't even. You know what? Even if he gets the right answer, just put it in the next guy.
Zeppelin, I never knew that Zeppelin was a guitarist.
Yes, Zeppelin.
Zeppelin guitarist.
Joey Zeppelin.
Joey Zeppelin.
Joey Zeppelin.
I will give you a hint.
Timmy
Richards.
Richards.
He goes, Richard. Could it be Keith Richards, folks?
Could it be?
Yes.
Oh!
And how did he break those ribs, Frank?
Well,
he
he
fell off
was
a tree.
He
fell off a tree.
That's what
But
happened.
All right.
He was okay. He wasn't
Tim
high.
Paterni, I know Kathy knows Franca. You could send the information to her and she'll send to you the premium.
Cigar
Congratulations.
Sense. Yes.
Unbelievable. We finally won something. Very good. Thank you, Franca. That was wonderful. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Coming up right now, right?
So my wife says Mary had the answer, but the spouse's rules
we
will
can't
not allow.
And you know what? What happened to family and friends?
That's
Friends are supposed to be excluded from this film.
Yes.
It's all good. It's all good. I called it right away. If anybody was going to get it, it was going to be Tim.
I like Christopher Yao says Mick Jagger. Did Mick Jagger ever play the guitar?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, he does actually. He does play the guitar.
He does play guitar.
He does play guitar.
Not on stage.
Not on stage.
He does
In his
this.
bathroom. In his bathroom, he plays the guitar.
Yeah.
All right.
It's all good.
Franca,
we
thank
know
you.
it's late. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you so
Franca.
much.
Thanks
Grazie
to
mille.
you a lot. You're wonderful.
Buonanotte.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Oh,
Bye,
it's good.
everyone. Thank you.
Buonanotte.
Ciao. Everybody, thank you so much.
Ciao.
Tune in next week because we got another exciting
We've
guest.
got Ish.
Yeah.
Yes,
The man,
Ishmael.
the myth, the legend, Ishmael
legend.
From
Olivan.
BAMF Cigars.
Oh,
Badass mother effer.
effers. So make
Yes.
sure you tune in next week because it's going to be the birthday bash
Woo!
show. It is.
It's gonna be huge.
Yeah,
It's
another
his
birthday.
Another birthday. We've
Another
got
It'll be
birthday.
huge.
Oh, thank you so much, Franca, for spending
Yes.
your early morning with us and giving us the honor of your wisdom and being from Italy and being there in Piemonte. We wish we were there. Maybe someday we'll come and do a podcast from Lago Maggiore.
Send us tickets. We're coming.
Yes. Come over. You will.
We'll
be
even fly Alitalia if we have to. Don't worry.
longer there, but
We'll never
Ciao, Franca.
Yes.
Ciao,
Hey, everybody.
Ciao.
Have a great week.
Have a great night, everyone.
Take care.
Take care.
Bye
Bless.
now.
Tell my brothers to line them up. We'll drink that whiskey from those old dirty cups. We'll toast to the present, the future, and the past. This ain't my first drink, but I sure it ain't my last. 'Cause this world is so beautiful. I see its love come shining through. This world is so beautiful. I feel its love come shining through. This world is so